We're gonna show you the exact clean progression that we utilize to teach all of our athletes here at Garage Strength, and we're gonna start right now. What's up everybody, it's Dane Miller from GarageStrength.com, and if this is your first time to the channel and you're interested in becoming a freak, make sure that you like, you subscribe, and you smash that notification bell so we can help you become a beast. So when we get new athletes that come in the door, the first thing that we like to do is to actually teach them how to snatch properly, and that's why we put out our snatch progression video. But that second key factor with all of our athletes, football players, wrestlers, Olympic weightlifters, everybody, is that we need to teach them how to clean effectively, how to clean properly. And the couple key factors here is that we've got to keep it as simple as possible. We have to make it as repetitive as we possibly can and keep it really, really mundane. It's going to be boring. They have to do the same thing over and over and over and over again so that it trains their nervous system on the positions that we need to be in. And then finally, throw the kids, throw the athletes, even newbie, older people that have never cleaned, throw them right into the fire, because we're gonna be using a dowel rod, or we use a PVC pipe, or we use a 10-kilo bar or 5-kilo bar, a lighter bar, and just get them to do full reps that first day. If they can do full reps that first day, they're gonna see drastic progression really, really quickly, and they're gonna feel those positions a lot faster. So don't hesitate to get them to do a full clean that first day. But so we're fortunate enough here now that we've got Haley Reichert. She's a US national champion. She's a multiple-time world medalist. She just placed second at the Senior Pan American Championship. She is the second strongest female in the entire Western Hemisphere and one of the best technicians in the entire world. So we have her as our model today, and a couple key factors right off the bat when we're talking about establishing the clean technique is we want to have a simple cue for our foot width. So one of those simple cues that I like to utilize is if you can get an athlete, you just get them to put their foot off the crease of the instep of their foot, and now that's exactly where their foot stance is going to go. So if I have my foot here, it's going to be about 12 inches. I wear a size 12, and I want to go from the inside of my instep out here, okay? Now, this isn't perfect. Sometimes if you have a taller athlete, you might have to change that around. If you have a shorter athlete, you might have to change that around. But almost always, it's going to be the easiest way to establish that stance position. Okay, another thing you could do is you could push them from behind, but you don't even need to do that. I would just say use that foot trick to do that. And then the second thing that I like to do when we're talking about establishing the starting position of the clean or getting into that clean progression is that we want to establish the grip, okay? So one of the unique things that you can do here is you can just tell the athlete that they have to grab the bar when their crook of their elbow is right outside their knee, okay? So they can come down, try and get them to have that tight back, and just say, hey, pick up the bar. And when they pick up the bar, here, the elbow is just outside the knee, okay? That's an easy way to establish that grip. So establish the stance, establish the grip, keep it simple. Don't try to be really nitpicky early on because it can frustrate an athlete and they could end up not wanting to give you anything. Make it as simple as we can. And so Haley's gonna go in, she's gonna grab her bar here. She knows how to clean, she knows the grip, and she knows the stance. And the first step after doing the grip and the stance is now she's gonna put that into the front rack position, and we're gonna do a top-down progression. So Haley's gonna now widen her feet slightly into a front squat, and she's just gonna squat with her knees and her hips going at the same time. So we wanna see almost as though there's a rope pulling her knees forward and a rope pulling her hips backwards at the exact same moment. And she's gotta keep her back super upright and those elbows about 90 degrees. She even give me two more. Good. When we're doing this, you're gonna notice if someone is built like me, if you get a high school football player and he's never cleaned before, he's gonna struggle with that front rack position. He's spent too much time bench pressing. He's spent too much time doing buys and tries, right? So one of the things you can do is you can go watch our front rack mobility video, and you can utilize that to try and open up their thoracic spine and open up their lats so that they can actually get into that front squat position. Now, if you have an athlete who's a little bit younger, they should be fine and they should be able to get right into it. But the whole focus here is to make sure that that receiving position is fine, that they can actually front squat properly. So we want to teach that top-down perspective, and the key concept here is the first step is they have to be able to front squat. Okay, if they can front squat well, now they're gonna be able to clean well. So teach that front squat position, and then we can go into the rest of the clean progression. Okay, so that second key aspect, after we do the grip, we do the stance, we get into the front squat. So now we wanna go from a hip position here into a muscle clean. So Haley's gonna sit here, she's gonna stay plantar flex, she's gonna extend those hips, she's gonna wrap her elbows around the bar. Take note of Haley's grip. Ideally, and this is from one of the best weightlifting coaches in the world, your whole hand should stay on the bar. All of your fingers should stay on the bar. Champions, this is a quote from Zygmunt, champions keep all of their fingers on the bar. Now, some of us who are shot putters or a little bit bigger or lack that mobility might struggle a little bit, and it might have to be super, super open, but over time, as they get a little bit more mobile, they can try and get all those fingers on the bar entirely. So Haley's gonna do a hip muscle clean. Good, give me one more, and then go into a front squat from it. Okay, good, now go to front squat. So when we do a front squat, we get our feet into that catch position. Give me one more. And then we're gonna go back now to a hip power clean. Good. Good, so the power clean is gonna take the muscle clean. The muscle clean's just that extension. Now the power clean is gonna start to ignite the lifter or the athlete on how to change direction, where they finish, under, finish, under. And if you notice when Haley's doing this progression, she's not here. She's finishing, the hips come through, she's extending, and then she's pulling the bar back with her elbows getting back behind her torso. She's not here, it's here, under. Elbows back here, around the bar. So that's another key concept with, give me one more with the hip power clean. The hip power clean is going to help teach our athlete how to coordinate their hips with their elbows. And that's a key concept as well, as we want to see the hips trigger that shrug, the elbows wrapping around the bar. And that's one cue that you can utilize is wrap the elbows around the bar as quickly as you possibly can. Now Haley's gonna go into a hip power, then into the front squat. Do one of those, and then we're gonna do an actual hip clean, like a high hang clean. Perfect, good. Now the next one that we wanna go right into is going to be a hip clean. So she's gonna go drop right into the hole, moving those feet. Good, give me two more. Okay, one more. Good. Okay, so it's we've got to keep it moving, keep it simple, make it repetitive, and think about it from that top-down perspective. Okay, so now we understand how to actually use our hips and wrap those elbows rapidly. We know how to coordinate that finish into that catch and then ride that down into the hole. So the next step that Haley's gonna do is now we're gonna start to play around with our knee movement without actually telling the athlete. We're gonna tell them where to pause, and we're gonna slowly move their knees around if they're in a bad position, but we're not even gonna tell them really what we want them to do yet because they don't understand, okay? So we've gotta think about what I wanna see Haley do is pause below the knee here with those shins vertical, pause above the knee, and it's not gonna be as steep as she would do if she was doing a snatch, but we're gonna pause right here, and then she's gonna get into that power clean. So we're gonna go 2 to 3 reps, pause below the knee, pause above the knee, and then a power clean. You're gonna do a full. Good. Now we're gonna do, now off of that, we're gonna go pause, pause, full. And one more of those. Pause below the knees, keep good tight tension. Perfect, right there, good. Okay, now we're gonna go into the full, okay? So what we're doing is we're keeping this moving pretty quickly. If the athlete is executing it well and they have that good rack position, we can just keep it moving. We don't have to sit there and be overly nitpicky because that can frustrate athletes, and when an athlete is frustrated, they don't want to learn, okay? Their body doesn't want to learn, their mentality, they don't want to learn, they shut down. So we've got to just keep it moving, and if they're hitting positions decently, they don't even have to be perfect. If they look okay early on, Now we can keep progressing. So now we're actually gonna go into that full clean, and then you can just sit there and say, hey, remember those pauses, remember that high hang, remember that catch position, remember our feet. Just go through this and make it as simple as you possibly can. So Haley's gonna execute that full clean here. Bar's nice and tight, knees are moving well. She's wrapping those elbows quickly. Good hip contact, rapid elbows in the catch. Her feet aren't jumping all over the place. Her feet are going right into that front squat position. Give me one more. Perfect, good. So when you're teaching the clean progressions, make sure that you execute from that top-down perspective. Try to find any mobility issues in the wrists, in the lats, even in a little bit in the triceps, in that upper back, because that's gonna help you actually execute this even more effectively. Use that hip muscle snatch, then get into the hang positions. Utilize isometrics to teach the actual movement as well as you can. And then I even recommend using people as models, okay? One of the things here is that Haley is the youngest female from the US to ever clean and jerk double body weight, okay? She is one of the best clean and jerkers in the entire world. You can watch her videos and watch her clean, and you can see how to actually properly clean where you're not flailing all over the place. So try to find people that you can move like and execute as well as they execute, and use that as a model so that you can show your athletes and educate them on proper movement. So if you need help with your clean technique or weightlifting programming and weightlifting technique, you can click on the link down below and pick up our weightlifting course. If you want more content around weightlifting, click on this card right here. Until next time, guys, peace.